Lexi, come on, let's go.
A mother, a wife, 365 days a year, Susie Burrows is the caring shoulder to lean on for her family.
That would have been like the wrong move.
But at a moment's notice, she becomes that superhero with strong enough shoulders for countless helpless victims.
8 years, going on my 9th year.
Her headquarters is the county attorney's office, the 14th floor, where Burrows and more than 100 others put on their figurative capes.
They're ordinary people who live ordinary lives. They come from all walks of life, but these are people who have a really deep passion and a commitment for making a difference in their community.
They are the victim service volunteers, unpaid, and oftentimes at a heinous crime scene, they go unnoticed amongst the officers and detectives, unassuming men and women walking right up to victims and their families.
The main brochure we have is a domestic violence brochure. It has a lot of resources.
At their most vulnerable.
Just a connection. Once you start talking to people, they'll become more receptive. And your tone of voice has a lot to do with it. The way you approach them.
For 8 years, Burrows has taken on the unenviable task, using her training on trauma and listening techniques.
It was a big life event.
To help people like Jamie Leon Guerrero.
3 years ago, my partner, Chris Chambers, was killed by an impaired driver who was on spice while riding her bicycle at 6 o'clock in the morning on June 18th, 2014.
I knew what had happened. I knew there was a death involved. By how distraught she was.
It's these crimes that Burrows remembers the most, the ones where she is there to help the one victim, like Jamie, who can't help themselves.
I describe it when I speak, like a baby kind of taking their first step, like I had fallen and I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And I don't think without their support, even in that small time frame, just kind of nudging me to get up and you kind of got to go forward now. Without Chris, I don't know if I would have been able to do that.
Victim services became her second family. They were there at the trial and through to the killer's sentencing.
Because that's another trauma. You're the victim of a crime and suddenly now you have to be re-victimized.
You don't know how awesome it is to have
Reunited the day we interviewed the pair, reminiscing about the feelings they had together.
These were these two strangers who were in Chris's house with me, and they held my hand and they gave me a hug, and just that feeling of genuine concern. I remember that so clearly.
All those emotions from which Burrows has to disconnect.
I've seen a lot. I don't know if I want to. Yeah.
Trying not to take each murder, sexual assault, or robbery home when she takes off that super volunteer cape and is back to mom.
You want to take care of them. You can't. You want to take them home with you. You can't. But there's so many people out there that are alone and that need help. And if this is one of the services that they can provide, have given to them for free, then I think this is one of the best programs out there.
In downtown, Schreiber, KOLD News 13, live local late breaking.